Hello, welcome back. I've been brought a lovely cup of coffee from my husband while I've been doing my nails. So, little Miss Princess, of course, how affected is that? So what I've done is I have gone through all of my nails now and I've shaped them into the shape that I particularly like, which is more of a sort of an almondy shape. So there's the other hand. One of the things I would definitely recommend that you do is when you're shaping your nails, remember to do this little bit underneath and check that there's no bits at the edges that are going to, come away when you're doing it, sort of bits of nail that you filed that have not completely finished. So you can either use this or use this and then just literally go around the underneath of the nail. So just like this. Just making sure that there's no rough bits. Okay, it takes a couple of minutes, but actually it's quite an important bit to do. So I'm just going to go round just like this, just to check that there's no loose bits underneath. There we go, that one's got quite a few actually, so it's lucky I did that because otherwise the nail varnish is not going to adhere properly. Okay, so what I've also done is use this buffer to buff the nails. So we're taking off any last bits of colour, any last bits of undercoat, we're knocking any ridges back, although that doesn't matter quite so much when you're using a gel nail. And we've smoothed it out all ready for having the nail varnish put on. So that's where we are at the moment. My nails are nice and clean. One thing is just to give them a brush to get rid of any little bits of powder. I don't have a nail brush, so I just use an old powder brush. There we go. So my nails are now, all the gel is removed. They're nice and buffed. Again, I can see a little bit there that just needs taking off. So give them a last look over. Check that the shape is nice. Check that there's no bits hanging. And if there's any bits of colour left, you can just buff those off. So, following my handy dandy sheet telling me what to do is telling me just to give them a clean. So I'm going to use this cleaner, and this is just a couple of minutes to do this. So we're just going to put a bit of cleaner on there and do this. This will get rid of any oil or anything that is going to stop the base coat from adhering to your nails. And they're looking pretty good at the moment, considering how rubbish they were looking a minute ago. Okay, so I'm just going to use another one. Getting on okay. A little bit of the cleaner. This is going to last me for a long time. Although I think I will go back to having them done when I can. But this is just because we want to still look ourselves. Without my nail varnish, I just don't feel like myself. And so what's really nice is, that it's not as scary as you think it is. That's what I really want you to take from this tutorial. Okay, so I'm going to pop the lid back on. So next stage is the base coat. What I'm going to do is, I've got a little pile of dust here, as you can see. I'm going to bring all of this together, all the dirty bits, the bits that have come off my nails and the silver, and we're just going to roll all this up. And then underneath, we've got a really nice clean surface. But what I'm going to do is just put a little bit more kitchen towel on there, just so that if I need to wipe any bits off, I can do. Right, so all the dirty stuff's over there. Let's get rid of the bits that we don't need anymore. Let's move over to the side. So, next step. How exciting. So, this step, and I always just give it a bit of a roll, is the base coat. So what's super important with the base coat is that you don't put too much on. We're not wanting to do thick layers here because that will peel off basically. It's not going to sit as well. So it's quite a thick, gloopy liquid, this one. And we're just going to wipe it off on the sides, trying not to get it on the outside. And then I'm literally just going to put a really thin layer on each nail, making sure it gets to the side of my nail and to the back of my nail. and actually just slightly over the nail. So when you put it on, smooth it on like that and let the brush go to the end. And make sure it's a nice, smooth look. So there's probably enough there to get going on the second nail. Right the way up to the cuticle. Don't forget to get right to the sides of your nail. Look at me, I'm so shaky. There we go. And there was enough on that to do that second coat. I've got a little bit over, so just use your nail on the other hand. Right, I'm going to finish doing these nails. Once I've done these, they're going to go in my lamp for 60 seconds. Then I'll do the other hand and then I'll come back to you. Don't go anywhere. Right, so there is my base coat. It's been cured, dried, whatever it's called, for 60 seconds on each side. And so now I'm ready to use my colour. So this one is Semilac and it's called My Love. Now, as everybody knows, I love red nails, but it doesn't give you very far to go with going wrong. So it's not very forgiving on mistakes. So you just have to take a little bit extra time on it. I always struggle doing my right hand, holding it with my left hand, but it just takes patience and time. Not virtues I'm normally gifted with. However, I think for my nails, I'll go with it. So again, what you want to do is make sure that you're doing a very thin coat of it. If you do it too thick, it's just going to start peeling off quite quickly when it's all done. You'll just have a layer on layer and it's not going to be very nice. So just keep on getting rid of it from the brush. And then when you've got just a little bit on the end, we're just going to start layering it on. Now, I have found that if it goes on the skin, as it grows, that is where it's going to peel first because it's got a lip. So it's best to try to start it just before where the skin is in the bed. So I always make a mess, but there we go. Nail number 1 done. Okay, so moving on. Nail number 2. Again, you just want a very thin layer. When it comes to doing the bit here, just gently push it back, just like this. So we're just going back into the nail bed, but not onto the skin. Make sure it goes right the way to the side of the nail. That's what's going to give it that lovely long appearance. But again, avoid the skin if you possibly can. If we did a good enough job on the prep, then this bit shouldn't be too bad. Every time you dip this in, you just want to take a tiny amount on the brush. Don't be tempted to try and make it look too much, and then you can just, rather than leaving it sitting in there, just pop it down on its side if you need to do anything like that. So, as you can see, that is 2 nails done. One thing you need to do is to make sure you go right over the edge of the nail. That's going to kind of coat it here, but we're going to do that a bit more as well with the top coat. So I'm going to continue doing this and I will see you when I've done both sides, and I'll see you when I've done 2 coats, 2 thin coats rather than a thick coat. See you on the other side.